So we're gonna do something a little bit different with Pop Culture Omniversa as part of my expansion plans. So I will be heading back to work in near the end of this month, so you can take of that what you will. But I don't know the fate of pop culture. I'm still trying to see how I can work around my schedule, but something had to be given up. So naturally, I gave up my Neo Reality Collective series on Anchor for the foreseeable future, and will not be attending to that for any time soon as I try to work out my schedulings and everything with content creation. But I will be going ahead and deciding, I could merge some aspects since video gaming is part of pop culture, and since mostly my channel so far seem to be DC Comics related, I needed to expand my venture in there since pop culture is supposed to include everything. So I thought I might as well add some news elements that are worth talking about. And since it's also part of pop culture, and plus video games are part of the pop culture omniverse stuff. So the Xbox deal with Bethesda has been finalized. It's now officially under the same Microsoft umbrella, and thus has been announced that yep, we're gonna have a Bethesda joining up with the Xbox family officially. But now it's like there was a whole bunch. But when Microsoft announced the buyout initially, there was talk that does that mean that all the exclusive deals that were going on with Sony at the time that they had signed contracts with was going to be null and void? Despite the buyout, Bethesda doesn't sure. So I'm taking this site from Screen Rant. I'll put the link in the description. Despite the Microsoft buyout, Bethesda has ensured its previous timed exclusivity deals with Sony will be honored. Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, however, aren't coming to the Xbox at this time, meaning two Xbox first-party games are releasing only on PlayStation. Whether or not any Xbox branding will appear on the games' box art, like the PlayStation Studios logo on the Xbox copy of MLB The Show 21, remains to be seen. These games will likely come to Xbox in 2022, but no Xbox release window has been made official yet. Existing games like The Elder Scrolls Online will continue to be supported on other platforms without any apparent compromises. Okay, so I felt like that was a good thing, like because with Sony's MLB The Show, there's been rumors that they're gonna like strip out certain features for the other consoles. That's just a rumor. I have no confirmation on that, and that it was gonna lead to Sony trying to get more people to buy on their console instead of buying on an Xbox console because they have the superior features, which yeah, they own the game, so they can do that. I don't think it's wrong to unfairly punish consumers for having another console preference, but yeah. So there was a big roundtable meeting over this whole debate, and in an Xbox Bethesda roundtable meeting that was streamed live following the acquisition, head of Xbox Phil Spencer hinted that future Bethesda games will be exclusive to Xbox and PC, saying, "This is about delivering great exclusive games that ships on platforms where Game Pass exists." No specific titles were noted, but it's clear Microsoft bought the promise of expanding exclusive lineup in mind, as Microsoft has been routinely criticized for having weaker exclusive compared to PlayStation's critical darlings. So, Bethesda games may not be exclusive to Xbox. Spencer was clear in noting previous contractual obligations between Bethesda and other platforms will be honored. Those obviously include the previously mentioned Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, but there may be some deals that haven't been publicly announced, like the upcoming sci-fi RPG Starfield is likely coming sooner rather than later, possibly in 2022. And it's not impossible to have a previously announced marketing deal for the game that would prevent it from being exclusive to Xbox. It's also entirely possible that Bethesda's upcoming Indiana Jones game, which is owned by Disney, may have contractual stipulations that ensure that it gets out on many platforms as possible. As years go on, Bethesda goes further away from games that were in development before the Xbox deal. It's most likely these games will become purely exclusive to the Xbox, as they'll be funded by Microsoft entirely. So, yeah, as part of these continued series of stuff, there have been that growing concern that yeah, this is going to end pretty badly for Sony people, especially since Microsoft has invested $7.5 billion in acquisition funding for ZeniMax Media, and yeah. But if Sony loses this, they lost a huge chunk of their end deals here, because now it's like, well, we have no more Bethesda games coming our way, so yeah. But Yeah, and they also made the announcement that over 20 games of Bethesda will be joining the Xbox Game Pass. I believe that came out today. Uh, let's take a look at what the game. One of them was Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim. So yeah, it was kind of obvious they were joining. Uh, yeah, I've been working on this for a little bit now. Yeah, 20 games are available to Game Pass today, which include Dishonored Definitive Edition, Dishonored 2, Doom 93, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 64, Doom Eternal, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim Special Edition, Online, Evil Within, Fallout 4, 76, who cares about that? Fallout New Vegas, Prey, Rage 2, Wolfenstein: A New Order, Old Blood, and Young Blood. So that's part of the big deal. This is part because Microsoft has been pushing for a while now that they were going to really push for the Game Pass subscription service since they want to have the Xbox Anywhere kind of thing, kind of deal, which is a big, bold move. But now it's like, while the war for third party developers has begun, we damn you ambition! And yeah, people were concerned this is part of the monopoly, but but they kept saying like I think there's a legality to it. There was a gray area where they could say, oh well, we bought these big developers, but they're not first party console manufacturers. They're big third party developers, so we can get away with signing them to big contracts and buying them out. And it was approved in the European Union, so that stopped a major hurdle from them. So Microsoft just bought a major stake in the gaming industry because now you have Bethesda's biggest IPs, and sadly, they're not firing Todd Howard, so that can't happen. Like, all due respect to Todd Howard for revitalizing the company, but I feel like he's just kind of lost it in recent years, especially with 76 and its horrible, disastrous year. Jim Sterling covered that a ton, so that's just hilarious looking back on it. And now it's just kind of like, yeah, that kind of happened. So I don't know what's exactly going to happen with this deal in terms of the other game properties that are going to happen, but yeah, it's just maddening, isn't it? So along with that, people were wondering. Along with that, I was thinking about out like so the exclusive deals. They apparently are going to honor them, like I said, but I'm not sure the full contextual details on that. Like, do they last their exclusive year, or do they last, or they go much shorter because now Microsoft's brand name's on it. And now that Microsoft's involved in this, I feel like will they try and somewhat compromise the development to sabotage the competition, even though they're kind of not really doing that for the most part. Last I heard, let's hope not they do it because Microsoft's been more open about working with the big players like Nintendo and Sony in recent times since Phil Spencer took over. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what they bring. I have some trepidation with this because now it's like, well, Sony's players like they were promised this, and now they're gonna probably be screwed over because Microsoft stepped in, and the console fanag warfare is gonna keep raging. Even though I'm that guy who just wants to play good games, but I would totally understand why people would get pissed at Microsoft because now they get to be involved a little bit in the development. Like they said they wouldn't get involved, but I'm talking about for more like, oh, our console will have it working best. Yours is going to be the same quality, but it's going to be lesser features. Like how Sony was pulling that annoying feature restriction thing where they made exclusive deals like they had bought basically a horde mode from Modern Warfare for a year. I don't why they did that, but that just made more people mad than actually be excited. Like initially, like even like for all the times Microsoft was getting flack for how they handled the DLC stuff, at least they said we're only gonna have it for 30 days. We didn't do it for a whole year. So yeah, yeah. So for those who are Xbox players, they're probably excited. Who are those who are Sony or Nintendo players? I can understand total trepidation from this, but we'll have to be optimistic and try to look at this and see how it goes. Like my issues with like I have no issues with Phil Spencer besides him being buddies with Todd Howard, considering where Todd Howard pulled for the last several years, like Fallout First memberships. So yeah. Oh god, that was terrible. So yeah. Anyways, this was Neo Reality Entertainment presenting Pop Culture Omniversa, Bethesda joining Xbox details. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my content in the description below. Oh, search up in the search tab. And if you liked the video, you like it. If you didn't, that's okay. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Take care, everybody. And I need all the praying I can get. I have to go back to work in a few weeks. I am screwed.